Here in the Middle East, when you're doing a wedding, it's like you're doing a movie.
Hi guys, welcome to the Weddings Exposed podcast, the first podcast for the brides and for the wedding industry professionals.
We are Alexa Geibel and Kirill Brusilovsky, fine art wedding photographers from North Germany.
In our podcast, we are going to give many tips for the brides how to organize your dream wedding.
Our idea is to bring wedding industry professionals and wedding clients closer together and make them understand each other better.
We want to share experiences and learn from each other.
And now, let's rock and roll.
Hi guys, welcome to the Weddings Exposed podcast. Today we have a very special guest from Middle East. Her name is Hala and she's an exclusive wedding and event planner. So we're really excited to talk to her today. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good.
Could you please tell us just in a few words what exactly do you do about your business?
I'm a wedding planner and decorator, and we plan the wedding and at the same time do the decoration. So there's no middleman between us and the bride.
You're just one company doing it all.
Yes, unless it's a big wedding, then we go into production company and we bring in people with us.
And you're located, if I understand it correctly, in United Arab Emirates and also in Lebanon, right?
True, yes.
And how do you actually manage this to cover both of the countries?
We are a family business. I travel between Lebanon and UAE. My daughters handle UAE. My two daughters, they handle UAE. And I go between here and there. And I have staff back home in Lebanon that have been with me for 25 years. So we're good.
Is the wedding season the whole year or just some parts of the year?
What's good about having offices in Lebanon and UAE, the wedding season in UAE is different from the wedding season in Lebanon. In Lebanon, it's in the summer, and it's the high season in the summer. In UAE, it's very hot. We don't do weddings in the summer, very rarely. So it's the different seasons makes us able to.
Cool. So you're working the whole year. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, how many weddings do you usually have per month?
It depends when. If in the summer, you would have, it could be 10, it could be 5. In the winter, not much. Maybe in Christmas you'll have a couple of weddings, but in the winter, in Lebanon in the winter you will not have, but in UAE you will have in the winter.
How is the day usually planned? Let's say in the morning it starts, you are probably the whole day you are at the place, right?
First of all, when we're doing a big wedding, we start 3 days before. 1 day is not enough. So if it's a big wedding, the client pays extra for the venue so that they will be giving the venue a couple of days before. It depends how big is the wedding. So we start early, and the day of the wedding, usually I'm just putting my touches. I'm just adding my touches, making sure this flower is right, making sure the chair is straight. We start really early.
Yeah.
And if it's a small wedding, something small, we start very early in the morning.
With what exactly? So
floor plan, tables, chairs, the flowers, the entrance. Make sure my assistant has a list. She makes sure everybody's on time, everything's done on time. Usually what you are the person on the floor because the bride is doing her hair and her makeup, and she doesn't want to get bothered with the details. So we are there for her, making sure everything is right, and she doesn't even know what's going on. She gives it to us and we handle it. When you have 700, 800 guests, everybody wants to sit in his own chair. You just don't go in and choose a chair. I have to make sure we have a floor plan, we have hostesses that tell them where to go and sit, and it's in the correct place with the correct crowd that she gets along with. You don't want to sit with strangers at the wedding.
So you're talking about the venue and the ceremony. Is it integrated usually in the venue, or does it happen before on a completely other day?
Now, the thing is, it depends of the religion of the client. If the client is Christian, in the morning there's a church, and they go to her house. They go to the house, and then they go to the church, and in the evening there's the wedding. If
Right.
she's a Muslim, no, the ceremony happens totally another day. They call it Katb Kitab, and then the wedding day, it's just a party. The wedding.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
do they also then get married in the city hall? Or is it like official registration? How usually does it happen?
It depends on the couple. Each couple does it. If they're doing civil marriage, it's something. If they do it church, something. If they're doing it It could be, there isn't one thing. Each couple has his way of doing it.
Yeah. So it's not like, because in Germany, usually like to be officially married, you have to get married in the city hall. You need to have a civil wedding. Is it the same in the Middle East, or just a church wedding? It's enough.
No, you don't have, we are not allowed to do civil weddings yet.
So do you have a chance to enjoy the wedding actually, or is just too much stress for you during the whole
No,
day?
we don't usually enjoy the wedding. No, we just watch from far.
Yeah.
We watch,
But you are at the
keep an eye.
place always, right?
Of course, big weddings, yes. If it's a small event, my assistant stays.
Okay, like small events, we're talking about 400 people. That's like the small events.
No, this is
Hundreds.
no. I'm talking about 100. Yeah.
What is your favorite client? Like if somebody walks into the door and you say, yeah, that's like the job of the year. Is there something like that? Like your dream client, somebody with you?
My dream clients who appreciates good taste, who appreciates what you do for her, and who trusts me and let me do what and use my experience.
Yeah.
You say for her, so it means that you are always addressing the bride, right? So the groom doesn't have to.
Yeah, he does, but usually the groom comes at the beginning, and then you're with the bride and her mom and stuff
Interesting.
like that. Yeah.
And what kind of taste do you have? Like, do you have your signature style in wedding planning, or what do you love to do the most, maybe?
I do all kind of styles, but I'm known for being the luxury kind. I'm known to be the grand kind. In the UAE, they love these things. They don't like the simple kind.
Yeah, I saw it on your Instagram. I was really just blown away with the dresses, all the decoration, like lots of.
Yeah, you should go to my. I have we have like 5 Instagrams. Each one specialized in something else. Maybe you saw the wedding one. Maybe they want it luxury. They come to me for that. Even if it's a dinner for 30 people, they like it to be luxury, and that's what I'm known for.
And do you also like it? Do you also enjoy this kind of style?
This is it started as a hobby and it became a profession.
But how did you end up, I mean, choosing this kind of hobby? You woke up one morning, you thought, okay, I want to be a wedding planner, luxury wedding planner.
No. This comes. It's you you can't study this. You either have it in you or you don't have it in you. You have the experience. That's what gives you the edge. But if you don't have the taste to create and design a beautiful wedding, you cannot learn it.
Is there much competition there? I'm sorry. Of course, there are a lot.
Oh my God, a lot.
A lot.
More than you know.
Okay.
And how do you survive? I mean, with all this competition, what do you do so different that you can still have many clients and you organize these weddings? How do you stand out from the competition?
Being affordable and giving her more than she's asking for.
Mm-hmm. Like, for example, can you give us any example? What do you usually give more? What kind of extras?
Because we try our best to rent things to clients in small weddings so they don't have to buy it. Other wedding planners, they're just wedding planner. I'm a decorator and a wedding planner. That's what makes me different. I don't have a middleman between us, and I have warehouses. I have my stuff. I can be generous with her. It doesn't cost me much. Whereas other wedding planner has an office and they organize and they subcontract, and they cannot give her a good deal. Even our cakes are made in house. Our florist is in house. We have warehouses with tons and tons of decoration. So we give her an affordable price because we own these things. That's what makes me different from other wedding planners.
Okay. Can you please give us just a small picture? We both are photographers, and I guess things are done also a little bit differently in the Middle East, at least judging on a few clients I've had from there. Can you tell us, just to give us an impression, what are the most important things for the photographer to look at? Or what are your criteria for choosing photographers, the right photographer for the weddings? And how do you work together with photographers? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Actually, I have certain photographers that I like to work with. Sometimes the bride wants to bring her own photographer because she wants to cut down on the price. Maybe she has somebody else.
Is this the reason? Not that she has the best photographer with the best style. Is it usually the price when she wants to?
Yeah, it's the price. Okay. But it's known who is the best photographer back home. You can't there's social media now. Nothing is hidden. And usually I could be doing the most beautiful wedding And if I don't have the right photographer, nobody would see it was a beautiful wedding. I have no memories of I did a beautiful wedding. My heart's really sad when I remember her photographer, what pictures he gave me. I was like, well, this for my portfolio, I have nothing much from this wedding.
Yeah. Would you maybe have any recommendations for the brides who are listening to us, how to actually choose the right photographer? Because like you say, there are so many photographers and very often they show the best pictures, but then they come to the wedding and they deliver, not so good result. Maybe do you have any tips? What to look
You
at?
have to see his background, his experience. Don't choose somebody who is not well known. And if you want to make sure, try him in a small event, try him in your engagement, for instance, and see how they are. Because at the end, the photographers, like we have 5, 6 big names, and they're all the same standard. When you mention this, I know that it's going to be a success photography, but sometimes the bride wants to cut on the budget, and she regrets it later.
Yeah, that's usually the case. That's what we hear it often from so many people. They come to us for love story photo shoots, and they tell exactly this to me, like how much they regret that they.
But so when we are talking about the budget, and you say sometimes you just have to be within the budget, no matter how big it is. What points you can see actually the possibility to make compromises, and where would you never make a compromise?
Here in the Middle East, when you're doing a wedding, it's like you're doing a movie. It's a big wedding. You're having thousands guests. You cannot do 1,000 guest wedding and then get any photographer.
And then save on everything, right?
No, they cannot. Usually, some of the brides, maybe she has a budget. She spends more on her dress than on her photographer. She spends more on the food than on her photographer. And at the end, what's left is the memory of the wedding.
Exactly.
So photography for me is a deal breaker.
And what about videographers? Is it also that common?
Because they're together. Yes, of course. Videographer, they're together. They're just
so it's always team. It's you never, when you are talking when you are saying photographer, you actually
yes. It's together.
Photo video.
Together.
Is it usually the same person who does it in Middle East, or is it just like a different people? Just one team?
They come as a team. They come together. You'll have. I'm telling you, it's like a Hollywood movie when you have a photographer. How many they are. That's why they're expensive, because they have to cover the big wedding. Somebody has to be in the room with the bride. Somebody has to be in the entrance. Somebody has to be on the floor taking pictures. Mm-hmm. You have to have people on the floor with you covering every bit and pieces of it.
Do you also have many foreign, like tourist weddings, or is the majority of your weddings are locals?
You can have both. Let me tell you, my experience in Lebanon. Lebanon is known for doing extravagant weddings. Like, you won't believe how over the top they are. You would think they're from the royal family or something, but they're just simple people. But now we have a crisis back home, other than the coronavirus. So this thing's gonna be changed from now on. We have an economic crisis.
For good?
I think for 5 years it's gonna change. In this 5 years, it's gonna be changed, because we have a lot of people coming from abroad, coming from all over the Middle East to do weddings in Beirut, because we're an open country. You can do a mixed wedding. Well, here.
And Arab Emirates, is it different?
Most of the weddings are not mixed. If it's locals, they are not mixed weddings.
And how usually people afford this kind of big weddings? Do they need to save for a year, or do parents help them? Do they take a credit in the bank, for example? Parents.
So it's always the families behind.
Family. I think each case is its own. It could be a rich guy who works outside the country.
What age are they usually? How old is your average bride and the bridegroom?
It could be 25 to 30 for the girl, and 30 and up for the guy.
Okay. For Germany, for Europe, I guess it is quite young. I guess average age of our couples would be like 5 years minimum older. Would you agree?
No, I would say it's usually like 25, 30 as well.
Really?
Sometimes 35, but
I probably
you just probably we attract a little bit different age groups because of our age. I'm obviously older.
Yeah.
Hala, I have also a question to you. Like, how would you recommend to the brides to find the best wedding planner? what they also need to look while choosing the wedding planner? Is it important to have a connection, a click? Is it important to love the style? Like, what kind of recommendations might you have?
Your wedding planner, you'll be seeing her for a whole year. I prefer to start 6 months before the wedding. So if you don't get along, if she doesn't like you, it's a problem. She won't continue with you. She will leave. She will find another wedding planner.
So it's about personality.
So definitely, usually most of the brides, they become my friends, and we see each other later. We're always connected. They come visit me because you were with her on her special day, and she. Sometimes I know their problems, and they fought together. Or, you become part of the family during the preparation.
Yeah.
Doing some advertising actually. So where do the couples? Okay, you are well known probably. So if somebody's talking about wedding agency, you'll be sooner or later probably on their agenda. But if we make it more general, are you advertising somewhere, or is it just word of mouth? Where would your couples search for the right?
There's a lot of ways of doing it. The big shot clients usually go to a very well-known name. They don't, they have a list and they choose from that list. Others, the hotels, the venues, give them a list of who they are allowed to work, who they recommend, that they know that they are good, they won't make problems. They give them a list. But usually, honestly, it's your work. Your work brings you work. You show your work and they will come for you.
So you're not doing a lot of paid advertising. Sorry, so it's just
no.
Instagram and all.
Yeah, no, not a lot. Because I feel I do a beautiful event and that's my advertising. That's all you get work.
And do you think, was it easier back in the days just to market yourself when you didn't have social media, when you just started?
No, now it's easier.
Now it's easier.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, but you just said that you don't really spend much time like doing advertising or marketing. So basically for you, it's just a beautiful work, word of mouth.
Definitely.
That's the best.
That's it. Good. If, for instance, a bride, she wants to work with you, she has to see something that gets her attention. Your portfolio. No portfolio, no work.
Yeah, of course.
Can you perhaps tell a few advices to our possible or future clients, to the brides? From your point of view, what kind of mistakes can you prevent them from?
Calm down, because usually, you know how sometimes the brides are like very tense. They do tantrums sometimes, and not to invite more than you tell me.
That doesn't happen.
So be honest with you.
Yeah. Now, sometimes I had a wedding in one of the best hotels in the Four Seasons, and the mom invited more than she told me. And at the door, I had guests coming that I didn't have the names of.
And what did you have to do in this case? Because for sure,
I pretended I found the name. I pretended that I don't show her that I didn't find her name, but I send my assistants to go to the mom and tell me, what do I do? Where can I see this lady? Where can I have a chair here, a chair there? You can have 5, 6, 7, but you can't have more than that. And in our culture, if you tell her, I can't find your name, she'll feel insulted.
Of course.
So don't invite more than, and keep me updated in everything that you change in the wedding. I need to know every detail. And the thing is, don't, if you want to do something, either do it right and don't go make it cheap. Don't do it if it's going to be cheap. Just forget about it. Don't do it.
So would you recommend just to save up some money and then maybe organize the wedding in a few years, if you don't have the proper budget, but you want to get married?
I will tell the bride, when she tells me her budget, I will advise her what to do. I will take a bride, even if a bride has a $10,000 budget, I will tell her how to do it. And I will guide her. But she can't tell me I have a $10,000 budget, I have 200 guests. And she wants to do everything.
So your normal conversation would be that the first question is, what budget do you have? And then you are trying to do the best for this money, right?
Yeah, but sometimes a bride makes me smile. How much? I have like a beautiful picture on social media, a very extravagant wedding. And she sends me under the picture, how much this please? And I laugh. This is a big wedding. Everything is detailed, everything. You can do the same with 300 guests. You can do the same with 1,000 guests. This is something you don't throw like, hey, this cost. You have to sit down, you have to talk, you have to see your budget. We can do this, different styles, and get the same vibe, different way.
Are they bargaining? Is it a good idea to bargain with you?
They try.
And does it work?
No, they have to cut down things if they want less. they have to cut down on things. I would always take into consideration the bride's budget, but there's a standard that I have to work with. I scared for my name.
You're doing exclusive weddings, right? So you have seen a lot. Still, is there any one single wedding which, when somebody asks you remember of during the last 25 years, like which you always remember, and why?
Maybe my daughter's wedding last year. This meant a lot for me. I did a beautiful wedding for my daughter, and this was the one close to my heart because I organized it and I was the hostess also.
Cool.
That's beautiful. And do you have any negative stories, like negative experience with the brides or just with the weddings? We're not going to mention the names, of course, but
not really.
No, it's just all nice and smooth.
Yeah, usually if it's negative, we don't work together. Usually it's always.
Do you also reject your clients if you feel like, okay, I cannot make you happy, we're just not meant to be together? Then can you reject the clients, or you never do it?
Actually, until now, it's always a matter of when the bride wants to work with me, it's always about if she can afford it or not. It's not about negative or positive. If she can afford it, she will go ahead and do it with me.
You have mentioned some changes because of the crisis or because of some other things. Have you spotted any trends in weddings at your place? How things are changing, not only in terms of budgets, but just in terms of perhaps doing things now differently than 10 or 20 years ago?
Nothing changed, but this is how it's becoming more extravagant and extravagant. But from after the coronavirus, there will be changes.
And what kind of changes can you suspect?
Less extravagant.
Less expensive, you mean?
Yes.
Maybe less people.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be seeing that.
What kind of maybe recommendations do you have for photographers or just makeup artists, DJs who would love to work with the wedding planners? How they should approach you? Do they have a chance with you, or do you have already the team and you say like, no, I'm not interested?
I don't like to try anybody in a big wedding for the first time.
Of course.
Yeah. So I don't take anybody on my responsibility unless I've worked with him and I know he's going to do a good job, because it will backfire in my face. When I recommend somebody, I have to be working with him before and I've seen that he does a good job.
Are you working together with other wedding planners, exchanging experiences, positive, negative, or is it just very strong competition, not talking to each other, not keeping secrets and so on?
Strong competition.
Strong competition.
So like hating each other, not really meeting for not meeting for a coffee. So it's okay. Yeah. And how many wedding planners do you have, like in Dubai, for example? Is it a lot?
Oh my God, a lot.
A lot. So it's like, is it like every single wedding, like you must have a wedding planner? Can you also do it by yourself?
No, wedding planner are for a certain standard of people. If you're doing a casual wedding in the village, or you don't get a wedding planner, they just do it simple way.
Yeah, but it's like a more common practice just to have a wedding planner, right?
Yeah. This has happened. Like when I got married, there was nothing like this. This has been in the past, let's say 30 years, 25 years it started, the wedding planner business. Usually you'd go to the florist alone, you'd go to each one alone and you gather them and you do a wedding.
But did you have a big wedding when you got married? Was it also like 800 people?
It was 500.
500, okay. So not so big for your standards.
We are big families. It's not a choice. We are a big family. I have 6 brothers and sisters. So imagine everyone, and my mom has 10 and my dad has 8 and like their kids. We're a big family, and the groom also has 10 brothers and sisters. So it's not a choice.
Thanks so much for sharing your experience with us and giving us some glance, and also
thank you.
Couple.
Nice meeting you.
It was really nice talking to you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Too.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye. Bye bye.